Cheryl has, and tell me if I got this right, Cheryl, but like you founded companies in different industries, like all the different things you built. I mean, I would say in some ways your resume, your background is really more of a marketer than anything else. And yet you now for the past 5 years have been in gut microbiome health. It's a very different space than where you came from. So clearly you have the expansive ability to move to different areas and do different things. How do you tell people you advise to validate that market is big enough? Validating a market's big enough when also there's a lot of advice that says, hey, look, just find your one true fan. Like start with one true fan who's going to just utterly pay you nonstop and then grow from there. So how do you weigh those two things?
And it's funny that you call me out as a marketer. I'm not really a marketer, but I would consider myself more of a product focused founder. I'm obsessed with product, and I think every founder should be more product focused. However, the marketing part comes in because I was a CMO at a couple of companies after my first I sold my first startup to Walnut Labs, because I think I'm just maybe people recognize me as great at brand building a great brand that people trust. And ultimately trust is a part of how you built your community, your small community initially, and then build it out, right? So I'll come to that to answer your question too. So, I think when we started with Tiny Health, for example, and we were thinking about the brand Tiny Health, right? So we wanted to build a flagship product based on baby gut tests because there was no baby gut test in the market. And I can go into all the story about why. But so Tiny Health may mean tiny babies, but from day one, I always knew that we would expand to the adult market. So tiny can also mean the tiny invisible microbes in your gut. So now we're quite in the adult longevity space, and I can come back to it. But initially, when we launched in the baby space, we wanted to target that market because we knew it was a niche and a great entry point for us because parents would pay anything for their baby's gut issues, or even sleep issues, colicky symptoms, eczema, allergies, all kinds of things, right? That is relevant to their gut health. And so we thought it was a great market to enter. There was a lot of science there. The science was really strong. And how we tested the market was frankly through a lot of Google SEM. So leveraging a small budget just to figure out what messaging resonated with parents. In fact, initially we had a few hypotheses. We thought, because my daughter was C-section born, she's 7 now, and she ended up having eczema, food sensitivities, all kinds of issues. And I was reading literature that it was because of her C-section, she was exposed to my antibiotics during the operations. She wasn't bypassing the vaginal canal. So babies born via C-section have more of these chronic conditions. So you would think that, okay, maybe the keyword that people were searching would be C-section, right? Or something like that, right? And then we have hypotheses where, okay, is it eczema? Is it yada, 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 prenatal, baby? So we did a lot of testing on Google, and nobody with the C-section campaign, nobody clicked on it. People just didn't care because I think they're not aware of the connection between C-section and baby gut issues, right? But eczema was huge. Immediately, the conversion rates were so high that we then knew to hone into that demographic, right? So it turns out that the prenatal, we thought, people wanted to prevent, set their babies up for lifelong health. So moms want to test their gut and vaginal microbiome during pregnancy, and then babies too. Turns out that nobody was interested in prevention. It's just a harder sell, right? Again, the vitamin versus painkiller. So the prenatal product was a vitamin. I didn't need it. And then people were optimistic, thinking that, my baby's not going to be,
No one expects their baby to have issues and have challenges.
Yeah, and that's how we uncovered that, then the eczema allergy kind of use case was the painkiller, that people were waking up in the middle of the night Googling baby eczema, and when they find Tiny Health and it's eczema may be linked to your gut health, and they clicked on it, they buy. We knew that was the marketing message we needed to go out for and so that's how we started, with a lot of Google, and before we moved on to Meta, which is a way more expensive top of the funnel platform to users.